Good, good. Well done tonight. That looked like it was a really hard fought win tonight. Sheffield United really made it difficult for you.
Yeah, definitely. I thought we started the game well and sort of took a lead from our second half at Leeds and took the game on. We created two golden chances, unfortunately. And then you are wondering then, because they'd had a couple of good moments, a couple of good play without really opening us up. But, I thought they had a good start themselves. And then Ben Mee scores a really good header from a great cross, which is pleasing. And then, all credit to them. Second half, they took the game on. I mean, I'm a big fan of what he does, but also his team. I mean, people talk about they haven't won a game, of course, it's a fact, but they're fighting without a shadow. They're not only fighting, I don't mean that disrespectful. I mean, they're fighting with their legs and their energy, but they're also fighting with a bit of quality. I was so pleased with our defensive performance as the game wore on and the way we saw the game through.
I'm going to say defensively, I mean, second half in particular, they really picked it up and really tried to throw everything they could at you. But despite one or two changes that you had to make, and obviously Charlie Taylor coming off early, you stuck at it really well.
Yeah, super pleased with that because we've been stretched so far this season, and every time we get everyone back, then we get more injuries, which is a real challenge for us. And that's happened, unfortunately, again tonight. So then you're operating with different players in positions once again. We're asking a lot of Eric Peters playing wide left to start the game. He has to then go to, and then we put Josh Benson on, who's actually a young central midfield player. He's earning his Spurs, and then he has to go wide and do a shift for us there. So, for them reasons as well, the defensive feel of the team, the energy, but also the shape of it is so pleasing. And I think when you come through these games, these tight ones, and you get a result with all the challenges we're having at the moment, and of course, had a day's more rest, I don't really like to cry in very often about game schedules, but I must say I can't see the value in teams playing two games in 3 days when there's no support in the stadium, there's no policing. I understand the media view, of course, it puts a lot of money in the football, but equally there's a balance where everyone's talking about the health and safety of players and the fitness and the demands, and the big managers all talk about it. So I must say that's it was tough for us on that script, and particularly because we've got injuries, not because just of our injuries. And I think it put a lot more pressure on the team tonight. So that pleased me, Torre, as well. And I must say, within that, I thought our two midfielders were unbelievable. Their work ethic for the team tonight and all season so far has been absolutely terrific.
As far as Charlie's concerned, how is it looking? It looked like it was a hamstring. Is that right?
Yeah, it's one of them that, unfortunately, I know the modern game and I talk about it, but he'd actually fouled. The referee doesn't give a foul because he doesn't go slide along the floor, rolling around. And then as he goes to break away from the foul, he actually pulls his hamstring. That was frustrating because I think if the ref would have blown up the foul, then he wouldn't have pulled his hamstring. That being said, you can't say that as a definite, but that was my opinion of it. And it looks like it is a hamstring, so we'll wait and find out more news on it.
Obviously, the big news before the game started was it looks as though the takeover is going to go through within the next 48 hours. Is that something you're looking forward to? Are you pleased that that's going to be put to bed?
Well, it really seems to be big news to everyone else, apart from the board of the club letting me know if there is anything, because I still don't know anything. So it seems to be big news for everyone, apart from the manager. But I hope the onward managing here.
You'll be pleased to know that we understand that the incoming powers that be want to speak to you straight away, and there will be money available for you if you want to go out and spend it.
You've got a lot of knowledge on this situation. In future, if I could get your number, I'll just ring you and say what's going on. Brilliant news all round, it seems.
But if there's funds there, if there's money available, it'd be nice to have that, although obviously January is a very difficult market to try and work on.
Well, it's one of the things that until I have the definite knowledge that things are done, as you seem to be implying they are, then I think it gives you a discussion. Until that moment, then there is no discussion.
Thanks very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Can I come in, Darren?
Equally, can I just say something? I'm always amazed with these Zoom calls. It always makes me laugh. But Jack Gorn actually looks like a nun on this Zoom call. I don't know if everyone can see that. But it looks like a nun with a habit on. I might have that wrong. That's just an instant impression. It flashed into my mind. And when the next question came, I thought, well, I have to respond what's in my mind at that time.
I can't believe you walked in and said, oh, it's cold in here. It's absolutely freezing up here.
I have been out there. I don't know whether you noticed. Obviously, it wasn't cold for me.
Can I ask you about the last couple of days? obviously City, Sheffield United, Fulham have all had their problems with COVID. What is your take on where we're at now? Because the numbers seem to be going up with each passing week.
No, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. My take on it is the same as it has been. We've got trying to align with the protocols in every club. And what players and staff, including myself, are outside of that, we try and live by the protocols of life currently are. Anything, you've still got to put your hand on a keypad when or whatever you're doing. Players have still got to live their lives. They've still got to operate in a way that is within the rules and guidelines. The rules and guidelines we have inside of our camp very, very strict. Outside of that, they're human beings. The players and staff, they're human beings. They still have families. They still have families that still are living their lives. And we are told that it's everywhere. So therefore, I don't think you can do anything other than what the guidelines are. Outside of football the best they can. And they're certainly trying to control that the best they can. So I don't think it's easy. If the numbers are rising, we hope they don't. If they do, then that's just something that we'll have to all deal with accordingly.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Rory, go on. You were dying to get in. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. I was just going to go on a similar thing. There's been some suggestion that there might be talks about a 2-week break to try and take fixtures off the calendar to let things settle down. Would that be something you could see the merit in?
I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the merit would be of that. We're working in very strict guidelines anyway. There'll be someone out there with much more knowledge on how this virus will or possibly operate and how it spreads. So until we're given the guidelines, then we'll accept what's going on now to the best of our ability. We're still working hard with our players to make sure they learn where they know the rules, which most of us do know the rules. More certainly the immediate rules yourself as a person. And then see where it takes us. But I'm certainly not going to start making decisions. I think it's nothing to do with me. The people that are much brighter than me who can give of what we could do.
Thanks, Rory. Chris Borden, please.
Hi, Sean. You all right?
Hi, Chris.
Given the start you had and the injuries you had, I mean, how well have you done to get yourself into this, very much more promising situation?
Very pleased. The players deserve a lot of credit, as they always do. If you remember, even early season, I said we weren't far away. I said the players were a lot, of course, which they were. We were missing some very important players. They've got fit. We have lost a few along the way, so I'm even more pleased, to be honest, because every time we just about get there, we get stretched again, and yet the players keep, bringing important performances as they have done tonight. And we've learned to operate the knowledge we have of the Premier League. We've learned to operate in different ways to make sure we're effective enough to get the points we need over a season, and sometimes more than the points that we just need as well. And has been often the case. And I think tonight was another example. I thought we were up to it, terrific at Leeds, particularly the second half. We all know what happened, so I'm not going to open that can of worms. And then first half, I thought we were at least good tonight with the ball to make 2 golden opportunities. It's not easy against Sheffield United. If you look at their scoreline, I know that when they're always really tight games, as tonight was. Then the second half showed a completely different side. Having to make changes to the injuries, people playing out of position, but still the team doing all the basic requirements of what it takes for us to make sure we can see that we get 3 points. I'm really pleased, really pleased.
I would say maybe a couple of players close to returning, but how many players do you feel you're short of then, looking ahead at January?
Not really about that. It's just the first things first. I said after the last window when there was a lot of noise about it, I said, firstly, we have to look at our own in-house fitness, because if everyone's fit, we're not that sure. But trying to keep everyone fit, everyone knows that the game schedule has been indifferent this year with all times all over the place. And this one I don't understand, just because I get it when there's elites in and there's fans in the stand and all the rest of it. When there's not, I can't see why we've had to play 2 games in 3 days with all the noise around, like fitness and health and well-being and all that sort of stuff, which I don't normally bother with, as you know. So, look, I think it's a very indifferent situation we find ourselves in from the last lockdown and into this season. I wasn't expecting it. We're certainly looking at what we do as well, by the way, and what the medics do and what the players are doing. Different days, different times, different schedules that may be operating slightly differently for the players. It may just be a spate that sometimes happens. So back to your point, if there's things in the market that we think we can align and suit what we do, then of course that becomes more relevant. But if there's not, so often hasn't been, usually because of finance, then we keep operating with the group that we've got. We've just got to make sure we can get more money to it.
Yeah. And to that end, Jay picked up a knock at Leeds, didn't he, on the weekend? Is he?
Yeah, he jolted his knee, so I hope that settles down. Vidge is still struggling with a tweak in his back. I don't think it's serious, but he's still struggling. Dwighty, obviously, with a strain, which is settling nicely, but, you know, we can't risk these players. We're trying to get everyone fit, not. Charlie's gone off with a hamstring tonight, of course, and Johan's still on his way back to full. It's not really full fitness; it's full sharp.
Yeah. Corky not far now.
Oh, Corky, of course, Corky. Yeah, Corky. I struggle to remember everyone. Corky with his ankles going along nicely, actually. So he's getting stronger and fitter all the time.
Right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Alex James, please.
Hi, Sean. Just following up on those injuries, any chance of any of them, do you think, for Fulham on Sunday?
We'll see. We'll have a roll call, a bit of a warm down tomorrow. There is a game that we managed to squeeze in as well, mainly for the likes of Dunny and Johan and Corky, people who have missed some football, and Will Norris as well. That everyone comes through that. And really, we're almost one day at a time. You know, I always say one game at a time, but at the minute we're one day at a time, just hopefully fit or getting closer to fitness, and just having to literally look at it as it goes.
With regards to the window, then you said when you've got a fully fit squad, you're not too far away. Obviously, you haven't had a fully fit squad a year or two now. Is there the need then to act knowing that those injuries are going to come at some point, just by the...
You can only act if players are available who can make a difference. They're in the right pricing for the club. You know, it's actually a simple situation, dramatised by all and sundry. You know, the fact is, if you've got money available, spend it. But you can only spend it on the players available. If the players are the right players, what you do, then it's worth it. If they're not the right players, I've never seen the point in it. Let's work hard with the players that we've got.
And just lastly on the takeover, and I know you've been over where you are with it, but how sort of encouraged would you be if job number one for the prospective new owners is to hold a conversation with you, given the fact that you seem to have been out of the loop thus far?
Just lastly, to answer your question, I'll decide if and when it actually happens, and then I can make a call on meeting new owners if they are there. Until the chairman and the board actually tell me that that's going to happen, on as I always do, working with the team and operating how we do, I'll be successful.
I guess my point was more that the lines of communication will be open straight away, potentially, if they do come in. That seems to be the noises anyway.
I have no clue. Well, you know more than me. So if you're saying they are, I'm pleased the lines of communication are open because you've just told me they are open.
Thanks, Sean.
Keep trying that line, Alex. Keep getting nowhere.
It is bizarre. I don't know. You know, eventually, can you understand what I'm saying? The cameraman's looking at me. You must be able to understand what I'm saying. I still don't know, but they seem to keep asking.
Before I go to the Fulham pre-match, have any nationals got any questions relating to tonight's game?